Hi, friend, and welcome to season 2 of Living Simple and Well. I'm so glad you're here, truly. This season feels like a fresh breath, a new chapter, an invitation to step into your life with more intention and a lot more grace. Season 2 is about honoring where you are right now while still believing in where you're going. It's about slowing down without shrinking your dreams, about caring deeply for your body, your home, and your heart without guilt and without pressure. Here on Living Simple and Well, we talk about what it really looks like to live well in real life. Not perfectly, not polished, but honestly. This season, we'll explore gentle productivity that supports your nervous system instead of draining it. We'll talk about wellness rooted in self respect, not shame, about creating a life that feels calm and meaningful while still allowing space for passion, purpose, and income. You'll hear thoughtful solo conversations and inspiring guests, experts who believe in sustainable, realistic care for women in every season, and so many more. Most of all, this is a space for you, for the woman who has spent so much time taking care of everyone else, for the woman who's ready to choose herself again, confidently, unapologetically, and with love. If you've been craving more peace, more alignment, and more joy in your everyday life, you're in the right place, friend. So settle in, take a deep breath, and let this season remind you that living simple and well can exist beautifully together. Hi, friend. I want to start by taking a moment to let you into where I am right now, because this conversation is coming from a very real place in my own life. Lately, I've been in a season that feels quieter than I expected. Not bad, not heavy in like a dramatic way. There's been a lot of reflection, a lot of listening to my body, to my heart, to what actually feels sustainable instead of what looks good from the outside. I have been learning what it means to choose myself without needing to explain it, to care for my health in a way that feels good and rooted, not rushed, to allow my days to feel simpler, even when there's still so much that I want to create. And if I'm fully honest, there have been moments where I've looked at my life and thought, I thought I'd be further along by now. Not just in one area, but in many. And that's really what today's episode is about. Today, I want to talk about that feeling of being behind, where it comes from, why so many women carry it quietly, and how it often shows up in seasons where we're actually doing some of our deepest becoming. We'll talk about releasing timelines, about comparison, about redefining success for the season that you're in, and how to gently come back to yourself when life feels overwhelming. This isn't a conversation about doing more or fixing yourself. It's a conversation about letting go of the pressure to rush your life. So if you've been feeling tired or invisible, or like you're standing still while everyone else moves forward, this episode is for you. So let's take a deep breath together. Let your shoulders soften, and let's ease into this together. Welcome back to Living Simple and Well. If this is your first time here, I'm really glad you found your way to this space. And if you've been here before, welcome home. I want to invite you to settle in. Maybe you're listening while folding laundry or driving or sitting somewhere quiet with a warm drink. However, you're here, it's enough. Season 2 episodes are set to be a bit longer. To be honest, while my conversations still emulate my philosophy of living simple and well, season 2 just feels different to me already. Obviously, in the planning phases, and we're recording episode 1 right now, but it feels slower, softer, and maybe even more honest. This season isn't about becoming more productive or more polished or more impressive. It's just about becoming more you. And today, I want to talk about the woman who feels like she's behind. The woman who looks around and wonders how everyone else seems to be moving forward while she feels stuck, tired, invisible. If that's you, friend, I want you to know something right now. You don't need to fix yourself during this episode. I don't want you to take notes. You don't need to figure everything out. This is just a place to rest, to breathe, to remember who you are. There's a quiet feeling so many women carry, and I personally don't think we talk about it enough. It's that feeling of being behind. Behind in your body, behind in your finances, behind in your career, in motherhood, in healing. just behind in life in general. It shows up when you scroll and see someone doing something that you thought you'd have done by now. It shows up when people ask, "So what's next for you?" It shows up when you're exhausted but still feel like you should be doing more. And the thing is, most of the women who feel behind are actually doing everything. They're holding families together, they're managing homes, they're caring for others, they're surviving seasons no one claps for. But because that work is invisible, they start to believe they are invisible too. And if you've ever thought, I should be further along by now, or I don't recognize my life, or maybe even, why does this feel so hard for me? I want you to hear this gently. That feeling doesn't mean you're failing. It usually means you've been enduring. And endurance seasons don't look impressive from the outside, but they change us deeply on the inside. We live in a world that loves timelines. By this age, you should have this. By this stage, you should feel that. By now, you should be over it. And without realizing it, we internalize those timelines as a source of truth. Social media makes it even louder. Past versions of ourselves make it feel heavier. Even well meaning people can make it harder. But I want to ask you something. Behind according to who? Who decided the pace of your healing? Who decided when your body should feel safe again? Who decided when your dreams should make sense? So many women are quietly grieving a life they thought they'd have by now, and we don't always give ourselves permission to mourn that. It's okay to acknowledge that things didn't unfold the way you expected. It's okay to feel sadness about that. Grief doesn't mean you're ungrateful, it means you're honest. Comparison keeps us looking outward for validation, when what we really need is to come back inward, back to our own bodies, our own rhythms, and our own personal truth. I want to talk about something I wish more women knew and something I'm still learning myself. Becoming doesn't always look like progress. It doesn't always come with milestones or announcements or before and after moments. Sometimes becoming looks like pause, like stillness, like choosing to stop pushing when your body has been asking you to listen. Sometimes it looks like resting after years of survival, after holding it all together, after being the strong one, after doing what needed to be done when you were exhausted. Sometimes becoming looks like learning your body again, learning what foods make you feel supported instead of depleted, learning what kind of movement feels nurturing instead of punishing, learning when you need rest and allowing yourself to take it without guilt. Sometimes it looks like saying no when you're used to saying yes, not because you don't care, but because you finally care enough about yourself to protect your energy. Sometimes it looks like choosing softness in a world that taught you pressure was the price of worthiness, choosing grace over grind, presence over productivity, enough over more. There are seasons where growth is loud and exciting, where things fall into place and progress is easy to see. And then there are seasons where growth is quiet and unseen, where nothing looks different on the outside, but everything is shifting within you. And the quiet seasons, those are the ones that often are where roots grow deepest, where you build the kind of foundation that can actually hold the life you're becoming. So if your life feels slower right now, if your days feel less visible, if you're doing more inner work than outer work, you're not stalled. You're not failing. You are integrating, my friend. You're healing. You're learning. You are becoming steady before you become expansive. And just because no one is applauding this season, just because it doesn't look impressive or productive from the outside, doesn't mean it isn't sacred. Some of the most meaningful transformations happen quietly, in the moments no one sees, in the choices that don't get celebrated, in the becoming that happens when you finally give yourself permission to slow down. And that kind of becoming, that kind stays with you. I want to talk about success. Not the kind we're told to chase, but the kind that actually supports our lives. Success doesn't have to mean doing more. It doesn't have to mean bigger goals or faster results. Success might look like feeling a little more rested, listening to your body, creating peace in your home, choosing consistency over intensity, letting go of urgency. I have worked personally on being really intentional with my mornings. I wake up an hour before my daughter to give myself time to wake slowly, sip hot tea, jot down my morning thoughts, and just be still. Since I still thrive in a place of productivity, I choose to use this hour in a mixed way. You can do it however you see fit as well. Following my quiet time, I am tidying up the kitchen, setting up diffusers, and then getting 30 minutes of intentional movement in. These days, that has looked like 15 to 20 minutes of strength training, followed by 10 minutes on my vibration plate, which I habit stack with my red light mask as well. You're allowed to redefine success as feeling well, as feeling safe, as feeling present. You don't have to justify that to anyone. And if you're in a season where simply showing up is the win, that counts. That matters. That is enough. When I talk about coming back to yourself in a season like this, I don't mean anything complicated or performative. Most of the time, it's actually really simple. It can look like checking in with yourself once a day, not to fix anything, not to make a plan, just to notice. Asking, how am I actually doing today? And letting that answer be honest, even if it's messy or unclear. Another thing I've noticed is how often we rush, even when there's no real urgency. We rush through our mornings, we rush through meals, we rush ourselves emotionally, telling ourselves we should already be past something. Sometimes the most grounding thing you can do is notice where you're hurrying and gently ease up there. Not everywhere, just in one place. I've also been paying attention to expectations, the ones I didn't even realize I was carrying. Expectations about how productive I should be, how quickly I should feel better, how clear things should feel by now. And I've been asking myself, is this expectation supporting me or pressuring me? If it's the second one, it's probably not something I need to hold on to right now. I genuinely need to thank myself for starting therapy last year because I noticed that I was actually the one putting pressure on myself to be a certain person to other people and adding stress to my life that was only there because I wasn't meeting my own expectations. I was worried about failing other people, especially those I loved and cared about, when I'd feel the urge to say no or set a boundary. I am still very much a work in progress here, and I won't say there is never an immediate sense of guilt, but it always tends to just work out in the long run. Putting yourself first is a selfless act, but it is a necessary act. And maybe the most important thing in seasons like this is getting honest about what actually feels nourishing. Not what used to work, not what looks good on paper, but what genuinely supports you in this chapter. Maybe that's earlier nights. Maybe it's fewer commitments. Maybe it's gentler movement, more quiet, more connection. I can tell you that when I started setting intentional time aside, my daughter and I to connect after school, where I'd set up a simple snack and a coloring session, for example, not only did I feel more connected to her, I noticed a shift in her behavior overall and an openness about her day that I truly enjoyed. You're allowed to need different things in different seasons. Coming back to yourself doesn't have to be a big moment. Most of the time, it happens slowly through small choices made consistently where you listen and trust what you hear. If you remember nothing else from this episode, please remember this. You are not behind. You are not alone. You are not late. You are not broken. You are becoming more honest, more rooted, and more aligned. You don't need to catch up to your life. You're already in it. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for choosing yourself today, even in this small way. I'll see you in the next episode, friend. Until then, keep living simple and well.